a house that'll leave you scarred for life, chairs that look like people, and a possessed dummy. These are the 10 scariest things found in Disney World. Number 10. Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion may be the creepiest thing that you may find in Disney World. Once you get to the Magic Kingdom, you'll be given a Doom Buggy, which is your ride through the experience. There are a lot of creepy characters running around, especially those little ones that you may not immediately spot. The ride begins from the stretching room, which starts to show you just how much of a bad decision you've made. If you're tough, maybe you'll only pee a little here as the lights go out and you hear someone screaming. It won't be long before other people start to scream too, so hold on tight, it gets creepier. During the starting parts of the show, you'll see some Disney cast members around the Haunted Mansion. Although they're regular folks like us, they won't break character and keep leading you to the center of the room. And just when you take your eyes off them for a minute, they're gone. With the lights out, you can't really see anything or anybody, and that's when they creep up on you with a little boo. If you haven't screamed for your mommy at this point, well, you're braver than us, that's for sure. Once the pre-show is over, you'll be introduced to the ghost host. This is where things get even creepier. He gets into the Haunted Mansion through a rope, which adds to the scary atmosphere. As the ride starts, you'll spot a portrait of him with a rope around his neck and an axe in hand. That's not a very pretty image, you'll agree, but it gets creepier. As the ride goes on, you'll meet the bride of the Haunted Mansion called Constance Hatchaway. All the gifts from her many weddings are stuffed into the attic, where you'll find pictures of all her husbands. As you go past each picture, they vanish, and the string of pearls on her neck grow. That's a lot to take in. We'll just stick to the goofy rides from now on. Number 9. Boardwalk Nanny Chairs. Imagine if a person was ironed flat and bent to make a chair. That's exactly what the Boardwalk Nanny Chairs are. It's a beautiful sunny day and you've just walked into the Boardwalk Inn. You don't notice it at first, but then it feels like something is watching you. When you turn around, there's a chair with a large face staring at you. Excuse us while we run away. The chairs were made to look like the seats on carousels from back in the day when nannies sat while they watched the kids on the ride. The chairs were made from the original seats and were painted by hand by Imagineers. While it's a work of art that took a lot of time and effort, it's also a very scary thing to run into. It doesn't help that each of the nanny chairs have their own names. There's Carrie, Paul, Todd, and Alex. Just what we needed, chairs with names. You'll usually find 2 of these chairs in the lobby, and the 2 are somewhere else around the Boardwalk Inn. Cast members move the chairs around, so it can feel like they're stalking you sometimes. That's not good. If you don't want to keep seeing those large still eyes in your dreams, please stay away from the Boardwalk Inn. You'll be glad you did. Number 8. Caesar. Caesar is a dummy used by a ventriloquist. You'll find it in the Tower of Terror, where it might just be the scariest thing on that ride. You'll usually see a bit of the dummy at the end of the ride, just as you get off the elevator. If you don't know why Caesar is scary, apart from looking like the dummy from Goosebumps, or the fact that it looks like a real person that was shrunk, you may know it from the Twilight Zone. In one episode of the show Caesar and Me, we see an evil spirit possess the dummy. We don't need to explain to you why it's terrifying to be in the dark with Caesar now, do we? There are many more things from the Twilight Zone found in the Tower of Terror, but none of them are as scary as Caesar. On the elevator, you'll find a certificate with the date, October 31st, 1939. It's the day the dummy was possessed. Also, the numbers 10259 are written on it, which stands for the date the first episode of Twilight Zone hit the screens, October 2nd, 1959. If you think that things we talked about so far are scary, wait till you see the other things we have lined up. Now we're gonna take a look at a sight that'll blow your mind. A giant terrifying dinosaur and a horseman who holds his head in his hands. Number 7. Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. This might be the scariest thing that Walt Disney has pulled off at their parks. This attraction is so scary to both adults and children that many people hated it. Meet the Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. When you go in, you're in a kind of a lab where you watch alien technology go out of its mind. This attraction doesn't start slow. Almost immediately, you see a violent and scary alien break out of its cage and start to stalk its prey in the dark. You might not notice it at first, but that prey is you. Surprise! For some people, this attraction is the right amount of scary, but for many others, the extraterrestrial alien encounter no longer exists to them. With many people hating it, Disney eventually closed it down and put in Stitch's Great Escape, which is less scary and more cuter than the first one. Number 6. The Carnotaurus. When you get to Disney's Animal Kingdom, the creepiest thing you'll find is a dinosaur ride. While it may look only scary to kids, adults also aren't comfortable with it. For one, it's dark, sounds loud, and you get a scare when a large dinosaur pops out of the blue. It's like being in Jurassic Park when it goes bad. This one's not for you if you scare easily. But none of these small terrors come close to the Carnotaurus, which is the last thing you see at the end of the ride. Disney chose that moment to take a photo pass picture. The sound and light doesn't make it any less creepy, but at least you get to see how scared you were in a photo. Fun stuff. No matter how many times you go on this ride, the Carnotaurus will always be scary. Number 5, the Headless Horseman. Going to a Disney park during Halloween is a ton of fun, but nothing prepares you for the Headless Horseman. Make your way to the Magic Kingdom for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, and you'll find him opening the Boo to You Halloween Parade. If you go to the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disney California Adventure, you'll also find him there. The Headless Horseman has a pumpkin for a head and large glowing eyes. Kids find him terrifying, especially when he looks down from his horse. And the click-clack sound you hear when he rides away, makes you shudder. Every other part of the Halloween parade is a blast, but the Headless Horseman adds spookiness to the event. Number 4, the Wicked Queen transformation. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs don't seem like a scary movie, but there were some parts that made us hug our blankets and cover our eyes. So when you get to the Snow White theme park, be ready for some pretty scary stuff. As you get on the ride, you see the Wicked Queen turn into a witch, and you'll want nothing more than to run away. First, you see the queen looking into the mirror. She's wearing fine clothes and looks like royalty. Then it starts to spin until you're staring at her. But it's not the queen you see in the end, it's the old witch. You won't see it coming, not even after trying the ride multiple times. And now that the ride has been refurbished, who knows how much scarier it would be. Starting out, things get serious. It's now time to look at an attraction that used the skeletons of real people. A ride that'll make you scream your head off, and a bunch of tiny fellas watching you. Number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Once again, the Magic Kingdom holds one of the scariest things in Disney World. A book called Pirates of the Caribbean, From the Magic Kingdom to the Movies, told us that not everything in the Magic Kingdom is fake. It turns out that the Pirate of the Caribbean attraction made use of real skeletons gotten from the UCLA Medical Center. What it means is that one of the skeletons you saw at some point used to be inside a real person's body. Well, let that sink in for a bit. Number 2, The Drop, Tower of Terror. If you think the extraterrestrial is scary, wait until you've been on the scariest ride in all of Disney World. There's a reason why it's called the Tower of Terror. This ride has scared people since 1994 till it was changed to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Back then, this ride had a scary theme song and a drop that seemed like the ground was slurping you up. And it wasn't just freefall. The ride would pull you down so fast you could barely think. That's what gets everyone screaming at the top of their lungs as they're thrown back down. There's gonna be a ton of puke on this ride. Now on to the moment you've all been waiting for. Number 1, Germany's Clock Tower. You're in Disney World and have just arrived at Epcot. What do you find? Nothing? Not quite. As you walk around the Germany Pavilion, know that you aren't alone. Something or someone is staring. If you catch their gaze, you'll see that there are dolls in the clock tower just staring at you like you ate their sweets. Their eyes seem to follow you around so you can't escape it. And when the clock tower pops open, well, cross your fingers and try not to scream. This attraction isn't as scary as the rest, but it could give you a fright if you're not watching. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.